And we are back with segment 2 of the Remax Magnolia Real Estate Show with myself, Curtis Pope, and of course James Minchau is here this week. We're talking air quality. I guess we're going to continue talking about air quality.
We certainly will, just because it's it's something dear to my heart now. I got a new pet.
You got a new pet?
I got a new pet.
A dog, cat,
no,
fish?
No, it's a plant. His name is Planty. And
Planty.
I believe he was a weed that grew up in the interior somewhere, but I brought him home and he was like 1 inch tall, and he was just one leaf. And then I put him and I fed him every day on my windowsill, and he grew and grew and grew to this giant plant. But he started to die because he was getting too big, and so I just replanted him and set him free outside. So he's gonna grow outside now, and we're gonna be friends, I'm sure.
That whole story is just unbelievable.
No,
I had to go there. I didn't want to.
Stop, Curtis.
I know I didn't want to. And it actually kind of hurt me to go there.
Yeah. Well, now it's going to be silly talking about this next part. Natural.
It's getting sillier than just talking about your pet plant named Planty. This is where we draw the line. Now it's getting silly.
Planty's good. I'll bring him. He's going to be a guest on my next show.
Okay. I look forward to. Oh, wow. Hey, it took us into the second segment before things went off the rails.
It's true. We normally do it right.
We usually get it right out of the way.
We get it out of the way first, but yeah, our wiggles are out.
Yes.
But plants actually do make awesome natural air purifiers, and a lot of people say, "Oh, I can't keep plants alive. I don't like plants in my house. Plants stay outdoors." But plants get rid of things like benzene, xylene, formaldehyde, ammonia. They get rid of lots of toxic stuff from our air. And the more plants you can have, the cleaner your air is going to be from toxins anyway. They don't get rid of molds and stuff like that. But and you can do this at home, even if you are terrible at keeping plants. Because spider plants, my wife and I, we used to have hundreds of these spider plants, and she'd always say, "Oh, but they're good for the air." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." And we couldn't kill them.
I'm the same thing with one of those jade succulent plants. I can't kill those.
Yeah. Perfect.
I'm awful with other plants.
It's probably cleaning your air as we speak.
I hope so, because there's a big one in my office here that started out as like just a little, it was like Planty. It was like 1 inch, and now it's massive.
Right, and you're so proud of it.
I don't know how I've done it. I forget to water it half the time. I think I give it just enough neglect.
That's like your kids.
Yes, they give me just enough neglect.
Indeed. But yeah, like spider plants, they reproduce really quickly. You can put them anywhere in your house, and they're just going to live. They don't even need light, or not a lot of light. A snake plant, also called the mother-in-law's tongue. This is another one that you can grow in your own house.
I'm not going there on this one. I know,
and it gets rid of formaldehyde, benzene, lots of other chemicals. Peace lilies, aloe vera, Boston ferns, bamboo, palms, rubber tree plants. These are all beautiful plants. But the more plants you can force into your house, the better. You just have to keep them alive.
Plus, aloe vera is really good to have around if you're like me, and sometimes you do stupid stuff when you're cooking dinner.
Yes.
And you grab that pan that's maybe a little hotter than you think it is, and
oh, you mean injury? I thought you were going to cook with it.
No.
Yeah,
I find
that would be stupid stuff.
I need it because that pan was hot. You know, you grab the pan, you're like, you move it, and then you go,
I can feel that.
Something's hot, and then you put it down, and you realize I do that a lot.
Yeah, something smells like burning flesh.
That's me.
What is that smell? Oh, it's me.
Aloe vera plants are good to have around for that exact reason.
Yeah, exactly. I miss our aloe vera plants. We should get another one. Yeah, so, I mean, plants are a natural air purifier. All you have to do is just add water, make sure there's some light in your home. And it makes your home look great, too, especially when you're going to go and sell it. People love looking at nice green plants in your house. But, like, really, what it comes down to, and these are the biggest offenders of all, are the building materials that they're made of. And, of course, modern building materials, they're using newer, better, more eco-friendly, which means more human-friendly building materials to build it with. So there's less of this happening in the newer homes, but in the older homes, there's a lot of building materials that release what's called VOCs, volatile organic compounds, and this is like paint, varnishes, finishes, things like this, poly that's the vapor barrier in your house. Those things can release volatile organic compounds for years and years. The drywall itself is not necessarily the very best stuff for dust. When you have insulation as well, as it breaks down, it's breaking down into smaller and smaller particles, which eventually will float around your house. So the more stuff in your wall, the more you're going to get more dust inside your home. And older homes they're off-gassing from all these things. OSB plywood is a big offender, at least not modern OSB plywood, but we're not always buying new homes. There's tons of homes that are 20 or 30 years old that are still perfectly amazing and viable to purchase. But that old OSB had formaldehyde to keep it fresh longer, basically to make it so it doesn't break down over time. And that formaldehyde they're finding is now something that we need to be looking at. And that's why I was talking about the houseplants, because most houseplants filter out all the formaldehyde that a house full of OSB can provide. But like lead, asbestos, mold, these are things that come from the wall and the building envelope itself. So you get you screw a hole into hang a hose on the outside of your house. That hole slowly drips water in, and over 10 years, there's enough water to create some moisture in the OSB. The formaldehyde stopping it from rotting and molding, but now it's getting wet through there. Now, just a little bit of bacteria or a couple of mold spores hitting that can produce a little bit of mold inside your walls. It's possible. And then that, in turn, will break through your building envelope somewhere, and that's where you're going to get mold problems. And then mold spores, of course, you can't see them, and they're everywhere, unfortunately. But testing for that is you need to do this. I was in a cabin once, and I went for one night to this cabin, and it was rife with mold. It was half mold, half cabin. But the half that was cabin, it looked like a cabin, but the inner part of it was basically solid mold. And I stayed there for one night, and I had my
and you lived. That's the amazing thing.
My nasal passages haven't been the same. I honestly, it changed me. And so
you became mold man.
Yes, at night. When the moon glows whole, I step outside and just slough off all of my spores. It's not the most exciting superhero.
No. No, you're not getting the invite to the Justice League anytime soon.
No, the Injustice League.
Injustice.
And then, like, moisture control and mold prevention. You don't want water hanging out inside your house.
No.
In the pipes is good. That's where we want it. In the sink, in the bathtub's good. There's a few places you want liquid and moisture in your house. Inside your walls and inside your roof, obviously, is a terrible problem. And this is where we get mold, we get mildew issues. It can break down your building materials. Broken down building materials turn into dust. Dust gets in the air. Older homes with things like asbestos. If you start doing a renovation project on an older home and you're not thinking about it, you may be spreading asbestos through your house as well. But keeping that mold and that water in check your roof. Like, it's okay to hire a roofer to come and check your house. I think the last guy who hired a roofer, it was like $300, and they checked the whole outside of the roof, the whole inside of the roof, and they left with a report in hand, and they knew exactly the state of their roof, if it was leaking anywhere, what needed to be fixed, when it needed to be fixed. So, and so what kind of finishes are best now? People were asking me, well, what kind of home should I buy to have better air quality? Well, homes with many layers of building materials, okay, those are great, especially the modern ones. But one thing I was reading is about a log home. So a log home doesn't have any VOCs because there's no poly, there's no nothing on those logs, right? Nothing to you don't need to spray them with anything. There's no insulation inside of a log home. There's no poly inside of a log home. There's no siding on a log home. It's just all log. And so with a log home, you're actually getting a much better air quality than you would with other building materials, because there is none of these nasty off-gassing. And so then you mix that with say like a heat source that's not forced air, something like a electric heat is like electric baseboard heat. It's not sending the air particles around, but electric baseboard heat's not that efficient anyway. So you maybe like radiant heat or something like that. Hot water radiant heat is great, because now you're recycling the heat back and forth. You're never getting fully cold, fully hot. So you take that like a log home with radiant heat, and then what else? What is the ultimate in clean air? I would say probably a metal roof as well. You put a metal roof on top of that log home, and now we have a roof that is reflecting heat back, so we're not using so much air conditioning, because air conditioning is another thing that can wreak havoc with your air quality, is because it gathers nastiness, and it gathers moisture, because you have this cold house, hot outside. There's going to be some condensation forming in there. So with the reflectivity of a metal roof, because it's not that asphalt, that black hot asphalt, we're going to be sending most of the heat out, and so you won't need to use the air conditioning as much, right? That's what I think. Anyway.
I think so.
Yeah, makes good sense. And then with the cooler surfaces inside from the log home, you're not going to be using as much AC, because they are massively insulated without the insulation. So, somebody was asking me what is the ultimate in clean air, and I would say that's those things: a radiant heat, log home, and a metal roof.
Which are all some great ideas.
Absolutely.
Now, does this lead us to perhaps a listing that you have?
It does. You know what? And this is what kind of prompted me for this. I was at these people's places, and I was like, it is literally dust free in here. Like, you must dust all the time. No, we don't dust at all.
Well, neither do we, but
no, I'm sure they do dust. But and I thought, this is a nice clean place, and that's what prompted me to kind of look into this. Like, what makes it so good? And this place literally it's a log home. It has radiant heat, so they're not blowing the heat around. It actually has a air filtering inside, and it has a metal roof. And so they had asked me, do you think we can sell this place? And I'm like, absolutely, we can. This is at 23133 70A Avenue in Langley. And I just happen to be doing 2 open houses this weekend between 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday at this place, 23133 70A Avenue. And 1.76 acres of beautiful home right near the 232nd exit. Gorgeous, absolutely stunning log home. There's 1,000 square foot detached shop, not 1,000 feet of detached shop. That would be a big shop, wouldn't it?
It would be.
That would be too much shop.
That's a lot of shop.
1,000 square feet of detached shop, and an absolutely immaculate yard. So come out and see me 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock at that.
All right. Well, there we go.
Yeah.
We're done another day.
Have we? Can we stay longer, please?
Sure, why not?
Come on, can we talk about the circus now?
Well,
I did threaten you with that.
I know where 2 of the clowns are, I can tell you that much. They're here in the studio, but that's beside the point.
Yes.
If people want more information about circuses, well, they're on their own.
Yeah.
But if they want more information about Remax Magnolia, where can they go?
RemaxMagnoliaRealty.com.
Or they can go to your website,
JamesMinchau.com.
Perfect. And join us again next week when we will talk real estate in order to unlock your real estate potential on a show where real estate is maximized. Thanks for listening.